We have sent them off to wars, and too often those wars were wars that should never have been fought. And then, after they put their lives on the line and they come home, sometimes injured in body and sometimes injured in spirit, we have forgotten about them. So my promise to Herb and to all the other veterans of this country, and I say this as the former chairman of the U.S. Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs, our administration will never forget the veterans. And our administration will never put the men and women in the armed forces in wars that should not be fought. We are here tonight because we are determined that Donald Trump will be a one-term president. The American people, no matter what their political views may be, do not want a president in office who is a pathological liar, who is running a corrupt administration, who apparently has never read the Constitution of the United States, and who every day, through his attacks on the media, on the judiciary, on Congress, is undermining American democracy. Veterans like Herb and millions of others have put their lives on the line to defend our democracy and our Constitution, and Donald Trump will not undermine American democracy. Now, I am very proud that in this campaign so far, we have won the popular vote in Iowa. We have won the New Hampshire primary. We have won the Nevada caucus. But you cannot win them all. A lot of states out there, and tonight we did not win in South Carolina. And that will not be the only defeat. There are a lot of states in this country, nobody wins them all. I want to congratulate Joe Biden on his victory tonight. And now we enter Super Tuesday in Virginia. And I believe very strongly that the people of this country on Super Tuesday and after are going to support our campaign, because we are more than a campaign, we are a movement. We are a multi-generational movement. I'm the young person. We've got some old people too. We are a multi-racial movement. And we are a movement of millions of people who demand economic justice in this country, demand social justice and the end of racism and all forms of discrimination, and who demand environmental justice as well. We are a movement of millions of people who are sick and tired of the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality in America. We are tired of a handful of billionaires controlling the economic and political life of this nation. And we will create an economy and a government that work for all of us, not just the 1%. And that is what this campaign is about. This campaign understands that in order to defeat Donald Trump, and we have to be very clear about it, can't mince words about it. In order to defeat Trump, we are going to need the largest voter turnout in the history of this country. And in my view, old-fashioned politics, the same old type of politics that doesn't excite anybody, that doesn't energize anybody, that is not going to be the campaign that beats Trump. In order to beat Trump, what we are going to have to do is speak to millions of working class people who today are working 2 or 3 jobs. They're worried about their kids, they're worried about their retirement, they can't afford health care, and they are saying, who cares about me? Who is worried about me? I've seen candidates run to billionaires' homes to raise money. Is anybody worrying about me and my kids? And our job together is to reach out to those working people and say, you know what? We do care about you. Join us. Come on into our movement. And then we've got to reach out to the young people in this country. The young people in America today, and I'm proud to say this, they are the most progressive generation of young people in the history of this country. This is a generation that is strongly anti-racist, anti-sexist, anti-homophobia, anti-religious bigotry. This is a generation that believes in the need to deal with the crisis of climate change. But this is also a generation that does not vote in the numbers that they need to vote. So our job, if we are going to beat Trump, is to say to those millions of young people, if you can't afford to go to college or you're leaving school deeply in debt, join us. If you are worried about the future of this planet and climate change, join us. If you are earning less money, as the younger generation is, than your parents, and you think you are entitled to a decent standard of living, join us. If you're sick and tired of trying to pay off your student debt, join us. So our job is to grow the voter turnout in America. I can't do it alone. I need every one of you to reach out to your friends. And when your friends moan and groan about this and they moan and groan about that, tell them complaining is not good enough. They've got to get into the political process, stand up and fight for justice. Now, in case you haven't noticed, the political and economic establishment of this country, they're getting very nervous about our campaign. Just read an article the other day that the lobbyists for the military-industrial complex, they're very worried. They're worried that we may not continue spending more money on the military than the next 11 countries combined. They are worried that we're not going to allow military contractors to give us massive cost overruns. And they're very worried that we are not going to be involved in endless wars. And they are right to be worried. And it turns out the folks on Wall Street are getting worried as well. And they're worried that we're going to break up these very large banks that got us into an economic crisis 12 years ago. And you know what? They should be worried. And the drug companies, man, they are really worried. Because we are catching on to the reality that they are ripping off the American people in an unseemly way, that in some cases they are charging us 10 times more for the same exact drugs that they sell in other countries. And the insurance companies are getting just a little bit nervous, because we are going to end the absurdity of the United States being the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right. Now, what the establishment is saying, what the lobbyists are saying and the political pundits are saying, everybody's saying something, Bernie Sanders can't beat Trump. Well, to those folks, I would suggest take a look at the last 70 national polls. Because we beat Trump 65 out of those 70 polls. Take a look at recent polls in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and other battleground states. We beat Trump. And we're going to beat Trump here in Virginia as well. And the reason that we are going to win is twofold. Number one, we have the strongest grassroots movement of any campaign in the modern history of this country. Our campaign has already knocked on millions of doors from Maine to California. And second of all, our grassroots campaign does not have a super PAC, and we don't want a super PAC. Because when you start taking money from billionaires and millionaires, what you end up doing is serving their needs. Our campaign, and I want everybody here to be really proud of this, we have received more campaign contributions from more Americans as of today than any campaign in the history of American politics. Our campaign receives its funding from the working class and middle class of this country. And we are proud to say, and I say this as a son of the American working class, this is a campaign of the working class, by the working class, and for the working class. For too long, the American people have looked at a government which receives candidates and members of the Senate and House who receive huge amounts of campaign contributions from the rich. And the result of that is we have not raised the minimum wage for 10 years, but we've given huge tax breaks to billionaires. The result of that is we have not dealt in any effective way with climate change, but we've given tens of billions of dollars in subsidies and tax breaks to the fossil fuel industry. It is time for a change. It is time to end corporate welfare in America. It is time to start paying attention to the working families of this country. And that is what our campaign is about. Our campaign says that if you're working 40 hours a week in America, you should not be living in poverty. We're going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Our campaign says that women should not be earning 80 cents on the dollar compared to men. We believe in equal pay for equal work. And our campaign believes that at a time when millions of workers want to join unions, we should make it easier, not harder, for those workers to join unions. And our campaign believes that in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, our infrastructure should not be crumbling. People are entitled to good roads, good public transportation, a first-class rail system. And at a time when 500,000 people are homeless tonight, we can build 10 million units of low-income and affordable housing. What our campaign is about is asking people to think outside of the box and to ask questions that are not asked on television or in Congress. Questions like everybody here knows that education is so very important to all of us, to our place in the world, and to our ability to make it into the middle class. And yet, in the wealthiest country on earth, we have an educational system that is failing working families from coast to coast. And that is why we believe in universal, high-quality, affordable child care. Why we're going to triple funding for low-income Title I schools so that all kids, regardless of the zip code in which they live, get a quality education. And because we believe in education, we believe in teachers. Which is why we're going to fight to make sure that no teacher in America earns less than $60,000 a year. Which is why when we believe in education, we understand that we have got to rethink public education in America. It's no longer good enough for free public education to go from K through 12. We got to make public colleges and universities tuition free. And when we think outside of the box, we ask some questions. We say, how come 12 years ago Congress was able to bail out the crooks on Wall Street who nearly destroyed our economy? How come at a time of massive income and wealth inequality, 2 years ago, Trump and his friends gave $1 trillion in tax breaks to the top 1% and large corporations like Amazon, which last year didn't pay a nickel in federal income tax? So it seems to me that if we can give tax breaks to billionaires and large corporations, you know what else we can do? We can cancel all student debt in America. And when we begin to think outside of the box and we ask questions that members of Congress don't, we ask a simple question. How does it happen that America today is the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right? How come we spend twice as much?
With just a little faith, if you put your mind to it, you can surely do it. supreme best. You're not afraid, you must be the same. If you can pass the test, just move on up to a greater day. With just a little faith, if you put your mind to it, you can surely do it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. South Carolina. And my buddy Jim Clyburn, you brought me back. It's a man of enormous integrity. All those of you who've been knocked down, counted out, left behind, this is your campaign. Just days ago, the press and the pundits had declared this candidacy dead. Now, thanks to all of you, the heart of the Democratic Party, we just won, and we've won big because of you. And we are very much alive. Look, I told you all that you could launch a candidacy. You launched Bill Clinton, Barack Obama to the presidency. Now you launched our campaign on the path to defeating Donald Trump. This campaign is taken off. So join us. Go to joebiden.com, sign up, volunteer, contribute if you can, but we need you, we want you, and there's a place for you in this campaign. Folks, as we celebrate tonight here in Columbia, let me talk directly to Democrats across America, especially those who will be voting on Super Tuesday. This is the moment to choose the path forward for our party. This is the moment, and it's arrived. Maybe sooner than anyone guessed it would, but it's here. And the decisions Democrats make all across America in the next few days will determine what this party stands for, what we believe, and what we'll get done. If Democrats nominate me, I believe we can beat Donald Trump. Keep Nancy Pelosi in the House of Representatives as Speaker, and take back the United States Senate. So join us. My fellow Democrats across America, join us. If Democrats want to nominate someone who will build on Obamacare, not scrap it, take on the NRA and gun manufacturers, not protect them. Stand up and give the poor a fighting chance for the middle class get restored, not raise their taxes and keep the promises we make. Then join us. And if the Democrats want a nominee who's a Democrat, a lifelong Democrat, a proud Democrat, an Obama-Biden Democrat, join us. We have the option of winning big or losing big. That's the choice. We need to build on the coalition and legacy of the most successful president in our lifetime, Barack Obama. And the way we do this is by bringing Americans together of every race, ethnicity, gender, economic station, Democrats, Republicans, independents, people of every stripe. Look, just like we did here in South Carolina. And like we can do across the entire country on Tuesday and beyond. Folks, win big or lose, that's the choice. Most Americans don't want the promise of revolution. They want more than promises. They want results. They want to give all Americans access to real opportunity, to be able to have affordable health care for all Americans, an environment with clean air and clean water, an education system that funds our schools, pays our teachers, makes community college free, a nation that will stand up to and beat the NRA. Reform our criminal justice system. Root out institutional racism. Mobilize the world against climate change. And an economy that works, rewards work, not just wealth. My dad used to say, Joey, a job's about a lot more than the paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about decency, it's respect. It's about your place in the community. It's being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay. For all our families, for all our communities. Because that's the right thing to do. That's what makes us Democrats. Talk is cheap. False promises are deceptive. And talk about revolution and changing anyone's life. We need real changes right now. Something I've done my whole career, and I'll do as president. So this is an election to spend all our time in a battle for the soul of the Democratic Party. This is a battle for the soul of the United States of America. And we're in an incredibly perilous moment, as all of you know. Winning means uniting America, not sowing more division and anger. It means not only fighting, but healing the country. We have to beat Donald Trump and the Republican Party, but here's the deal. We can't become like them. We can't become like them. We can't have a never-ending war. Above all, it's time for America to get back up. The country is so ready. So ready. Once again, fight for the proposition that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights. We say it all the time, but we've never fully lived up to it. But we've never before, until this president, walked away from it. And it's the reason why Jim and I and all of us are in this. I believe with every fiber of my being that all men and women are created equal. You know, I saw it a few days ago in a town hall in Charleston, Jim. I spoke with Reverend Anthony Thompson, whose wife, Myra, was studying the words of her Bible with 8 other parishioners in Mother Emanuel 4.5 years ago. It was a weekly routine, reading Scripture and finding purpose and faith in God and in each other. And in an instant, hate, vengeance, white supremacy pierced that faith, and they were lost forever. But you know what I found the most remarkable thing in my career thus far? Remarkable about Reverend Thompson and the families of the Emanuel 9. It's through all that pain, all that grief, they forgave. And here's the deal. In their forgiveness, they brought more change to South Carolina than any that's occurred over the previous 100 years. Think about it. The Confederate flag came down. Real change. That's why the Sunday after, Jill and I and my family, we came back to Mother Emanuel on Sunday services after the funeral of the victims. Because 6 weeks earlier, we had lost our son, Bo. And we needed to be healed, too. We need to be healed. I really mean this. We needed whatever they were exuding. And with every season that's passed, they've gotten up and found purpose to live life worthy of the ones they lost, worthy of the blessings to live in this remarkable country. We left here having arrived in overwhelming pain, thinking we can do this. We can get through this. So I want to tell you, it's no small reason why I'm in this race. People like all of you here tonight, all around the country. The days of Donald Trump's divisiveness will soon be over. No. And as Jim, quoting de Tocqueville, he was right. This multi-ethnic country we call our democracy, America, it can't survive unless we focus on our goodness. We can build a more perfect union because the American people in the last 3.5 years have seen the alternative. No, I really mean it. Think about it. They've seen how utterly mean, selfish, lack of any sense of empathy or concern for anybody else. A president who not only has horrible policies, but the way he mocks and makes fun of other people. To all of you here in South Carolina, and especially Jim Clyburn, my friend, who lifted me and this campaign on his shoulders.
That's right.
But I mean all of you. Many I don't have time to name, all of you. We, Jill and I, our daughter Ashley, my son Hunter has been on the phone straight through for me. My brothers, my sisters, my 2 brothers, my sister, my 5 grandchildren, my 4 granddaughters who've come out on the campaign trail. We'll never forget what you've done for us. Well, we can say without fear of contradiction, the Bidens love you guys, man. The Bidens love you. That's real. And folks, now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president of the United States, next senator of South Carolina. We need to send Joe Cunningham back to the House of Representatives. And all of us, all the Bidens, thank you. Thank you for everything, everything you've done for us. So folks, so here's the deal. Let's get back up. We're decent, we're brave, we're resilient people. We can believe again. We're better than this mama. We're better than this president. So get up, take back our country. This is the United States of America. There's nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hush not, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just